I appreciate you guys taking the evening to come here and get some good information about Tillamook High School. I see some of the students have already left their parents and are sitting off alone, and they're like, Mom, you can't sit with me. So welcome to high school. I bet you it's probably sooner than you thought. They're already ready to go. So I'll kick it off with our agenda. So we're going to go over some introductions tonight, some helpful faces that you guys will need to know as you transition to high school next year. We'll talk about Mr. Dixon, our assistant principal, is going to talk about some handbook information, some general questions students we're having at the middle school that will give you guys that information as well tonight. Mr. Eggert is going to be talking about athletics. We also have a freshman on track program that's led by Mrs. Matthews. She's back there. She's going to give you guys some information about how we put extra supports in place during your students' transition to high school. We have Nat Macias over here who does Juntos Afuera in the summer, and so that's a pretty cool program that we offer. So she'll talk a little bit about that. And then the heavy hitter is the course registration and really talking about the pathways and the cool opportunities we have at Tillamook High School. So that's kind of the cap of everything we'll be talking about tonight. And then we also have the fair out in the foyer that just goes over some of the activities and athletics that your student might get involved in here. Okay. So here are some helpful faces, obviously. Me, Christy Harper, the principal. You have Mr. Dixon, our assistant principal. A lot of you guys know him. Some of you may have been taught by him. I don't know. He's been here for 26 years. I have Lonnie Eggert, athletic director and dean of students, where he's right here in the hat. Amy Goebel is our administrative secretary. She's usually the person you're going to talk to during registration, and she has an 8th grader, so she is in the audience. We have Chrissy Weber, the other administrative secretary, running our Zoom presentation in the back. And you have Allison Meyer, she's our assistant secretary. She's wonderful. She can be found in the counseling office. Mel McCune is our athletics secretary. She's in the back. Some of you probably have already touched base with her. All right. And then you have the counselor. So they were handing out the students' course requests in the lobby. So you have Mr. Beeman, and those are the students A through K. And then the rest of the student body is Mrs. Shelley, which is she's right here. Nat Macias, the Juntos coordinator, as I already said. Lee Peterson is our counseling secretary, so if you have questions or if your student wants to switch their schedule, which happens sometimes freshman year, they will go see her to get that taken care of. Shelley Parliament is going to be the one, if your student is ditching class, she is going to reach out to you. So just know you might hear her voice, but hopefully not. Erin Matthews, 9th grade on track, and then finally Rochelle Metcalf, who's in the back running the show. She's our activities director. So that's just some helpful faces that, as you transition, you might be seeing a lot of. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Dixon for handbook information.
Welcome, everybody. I'd like to see the hands of all the incoming freshmen. Can you show me your hands? Do you guys have a Lions roar that you do down at the junior high? Do you do that? Okay, I'd like to hear that. Here we go. I'm going to count to 3. I want to hear that roar. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to hear, this is a test. I want to see the go Mooks from you guys as loud as you can. Hopefully it's better than the roar on the count of 3, okay? Go Mooks, okay? 1, 2. Okay, here we go. 1. As loud as you can. 1, 2, 3. Pretty good. We'll work on that. Yeah, 5 months to work on that, and we'll ask you again in September. Okay, I'm going to be talking about our lunchtime. You do have open campus. That's a conversation you're going to have with your parents on how that's going to work for you, because you probably aren't going to be driving. But we do have a nice cafeteria here where you're welcome to eat, and a lot of the freshmen do eat in the cafeteria. Again, there is open campus. We just ask, and it's 40 minutes, and we just ask that you get back on time. That's really important for what I do, because I do the lunchroom detention as well. And so if you come back late from lunch, then you will get lunch detention, and you will sit with Mrs. Myers in the detention room. And then we don't want that. So You do have some more responsibilities as freshmen. You have to kind of take some of that responsibility. We think that you guys at that age can handle it, and so with the open lunch that you guys have, we just ask you to get back on time and that you're safe during that period of time. Okay, we have a cheese block. It's like a study hall, and during that time in cheese block, what you guys will be doing is meeting your teachers. If you're failing a class, you go to that class. It's a study hall for you. So make sure that you go to that class and take care of your grades. The handbook for attendance, our attendance policy is where our goal is for attendance is 92%. We're right at 89% right now, so your attendance is important here at the high school. Grades also something that you guys need to work on and keep up, and that's another thing for Cheese Block. And Cheese Block teachers will be checking your attendance grades. We have no cell phone policy at the high school. You can have your cell phone on your person, but during class, there's no cell phones that are supposed to be out. All right? I'm passing it back to Mrs. Hartford.
All right, I think it goes to Mr. Eggert. Yep.
So I'm Mr. Eggert. I had most of you guys when I was at East for a while as Dean of Students, and so it's good to see some familiar faces. I'm the Dean, I'm the Athletic Director, and so I kind of play two roles here. Hopefully I see you more athletically than I do in the discipline piece. Mrs. McEwen, she is my secretary. She does all of our registration. Registration is the same registration that you guys use when you guys were at junior high. It's Privet. You upload everything there, we'll update it on our end, we'll get it checked off. In order for you to participate, that has to be cleared through us. That means you have to have a physical. And all income freshmen will have to have a physical. It's a 2-year. Some of those athletics that we offer, we also do activities: fall, cross country, football, soccer, cheer, volleyball. Then we move into the winter. As you guys can see, swimming, wrestling, cheer, basketball. Currently, we're in the spring. Another thing is I've seen a lot of you guys come in utilizing the weight room. And so it's been good to see you guys in there as we prepare for our fall sports. Anything I miss on physicals, Privet, any of that, Ms. McHugh? When you guys go to Privet for us, our registration is going to be on the website on the high school. You go to athletics, and then it'll go to registration. Just click on that. You guys should already have an account, and so it's going to be an easy one. You're just going to click on the high school end of it. It'll allow you to participate in any of those sports. Just click on them, that way you have it. Okay. Also, things that we do require band, speech, and debate. So on top of that, athletics, we do activities also. Okay. Again, we look forward to you guys joining some of those athletic programs. It's a good thing as we return from COVID. The other thing is it's a good thing to build bonds with other coaches, adults, and then because we do track your grades quite a bit through sports. Okay. And next up is going to be, Mrs. Matthews.
So as the ninth grade team lead, I wanted to share some of the wonderful things that we will do for your incoming freshmen. We strongly believe that relationships are one of the key components to student success. So we have developed a summer bridge program that you may have already heard of. This is a week-long time where teachers and students share experiences and build relationships. In previous years, we've gone kayaking, went on rail riders, hiked the Iconi Mountain, and then conquered the ropes course at Tree to Tree. The relationships that are built on mutual respect and experiences lead to a wonderful beginning of the school year. This week-long offering is typically the end of August, but I'll know more specifics at 8th grade graduation, which is coming up. During the school year, we recognize that students may need some extra help. So you guys have access, or you used to have it. We have study tables. Study tables are just 1 day a week. The last couple of years they've been on Wednesdays. They're from 3:20 to 5, and you have all of your core teachers there. We provide snacks. It's a safe space, an opportunity to get one-on-one help, retake tests, or anything you may need. We don't have transportation, that's the downside, but that's why we go till 5, thinking most parents are off work around then. As a freshman team of teachers, we meet regularly to develop targeted interventions for students. This can be anywhere from grades to attendance matters, trying to find a way for your kid to be successful at the high school level. And then another fun tradition we have that will signal the completion of the Discovery program, which every freshman takes their fall trimester, so the very first trimester here, is our Freshman Friendsgiving. It always falls right before Thanksgiving. So this year our plans had to change because of COVID. We couldn't actually go into a restaurant, but we spent the morning having competitions amongst our different Discovery classes. Had lots of prizes, played bingo, and then we ended with a wonderful feast catered by Amelia and the Pacific Restaurant. It's always a fun way to celebrate all the students have accomplished their first trimester. So as you can see, we like to have fun while also supporting your students academically. We look forward to seeing all of their faces next fall, and if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. Thanks.
Hi everyone. Hola a todos. Buenas tardes. I'm Nat Macías, soy Natalie Macías. Yo estoy aquí con el programa de Juntos. So I'm here with the Juntos and Juntos Afuera program. This summer we're going to be hosting an 8-week summer day camp for Latinos and Latinas that are here in high school. We will be going kayaking, zip lining. We're going to meet different people in STEM. We're going to go hiking. Do a bunch of really cool, fun stuff. Para los estudiantes que van a empezar aquí en Tillamook High School, tenemos un campamento de verano para los estudiantes latinos y los vamos a llevar a hacer tirolina, caminatas, kayaking y a hablar con otros latinos y latinas que están en diferentes carreras de ciencias. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be outside. I've got a really cool video showing all the stuff we did last year. Voy a estar acá afuera después de esto y tengo un video que enseña todo de lo que estaban haciendo los estudiantes el año pasado.
Hi, I'm Chris Bateman. I'm one of the school counselors here at Tillamook High School. I have students with the last name A through K, and Ms. Shelley has the students with last names L through Z. So that's kind of how we split it up. What I want to talk about a little bit is graduation requirements, what classes you have to take to graduate, and then the options you have for electives. So you can see up there 26 credits to graduate from Tillamook High School. You will have 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 3 years of science, 3 years of social studies. You also have some other classes, even though they're elective category, you have to take them: the health, the PE, basic computers, and discovery. Each class is 0.5 credits, and each student has to have 6 classes every single trimester. So you have the opportunity to earn 9 credits every year, and then by the end, if you do the math, most of you are going to have 30 plus credits, so plenty to graduate. You just got to make sure you pass the ones that are required. The other thing about graduation, this is something that's going to be back by the time this class of 2026 is graduating, is the essential skills test. So you have to get the 26 credits, and then you also have to pass the essential skills test in 11th grade. Now, if the student is unable to do so, we do have opportunities for alternative assessments. Sometimes we run them through a class, sometimes we do some individual projects. So we try to get every single student through the essential skills. So don't let it scare you, don't worry about it right now. Some of the things we do as counselors is we want to help each student find a career path. We like to have parent input if they want to. Find out which direction you want to go. Many of you won't know until you take some classes. The other thing we do is the career-related learning experiences. So many of our classes, especially our CTE classes, career training classes, have field trips, job shadows, internships, volunteer opportunities, things like that, where you can actually get into your career field and experience what it is to be an employee or someone who's affiliated with that area.
And then the extended application. Each of our students has half a credit, half of the 26, half a credit is service learning project. Now, that might sound scary. It's 30 hours that you're going to volunteer, and then you're going to present to a small group of 2 or 3 people what you did and why you did it. So a lot of people come up with interesting things. We've had students paint classrooms, do wall art. We've had students volunteer at the hatchery, at Habitat for Humanity, Food Roots. So there's lots of opportunities for you to give back to your community. The next slide. Okay, we're going to get down to what the classes are exactly. So for 9th grade, you can see that all of our students are going to be in English all year. 9A, 9B, and a writing lab. And I believe the writing lab comes first. Same with the math, so you're going to have 3 classes, the lab, A, and B. And then the classes we talked about, health, discovery, PE. One thing, I did the math on it, and so freshmen are going to have a choice between about 6 and 7 electives. Things that they can take that aren't required for graduation. And then those of you who are in band or fire, that is a 3-trimester class. So if you sign up for band or fire, you're doing it every single trimester. So then your electives are down to 3 or 4. So choose wisely. One thing that we like to do, if you see on the right side underneath Frosh Math Lab, we have our CTE intro courses. This is where students can experience that career path slightly, just to see if it's something that might work for them. They might take it and say, well, I'm glad I took that because I'm never going to do that. And then they take the next one. So we encourage you to pick at least 2 of those, intro to ag, intro to robotics, health, career, natural resources, and the music, construction, and CAD/CAM. So Ms. Shelley's going to talk a little bit more about those paths when she comes up. You can see some of these other little points that we make. If you have questions about them at the end, we'll be happy to answer those questions. I do want to point out a few highlights. I did talk about the ABC classes, choir and band. The bottom one on the right, choose alternates. So we're going to have you choose a full schedule. And we want to give you the classes that you chose. But sometimes things happen, particularly if you're in honors classes or band and choir. All of a sudden, the elective that you want is not offered in the period that you need it. So you may have to have an alternate. So pick those 4 alternates, and we'll try to do our best to get the classes you need. Thank you. Mrs. Sheldon.
Thank you. Mr. Beeman did just touch on career pathways. And as part of our job, we try to help prepare your students for what is going to be their future path. And although they might not know now, getting them that experience and getting them exposed to opportunities is kind of where we'd like to see them. So we have the career pathways to choose from: healthcare, agriculture, robotics, business, and natural resources. And I think you saw booths out there from every one of those departments. And so what we like to see our freshmen try is try a class from each one of those to see then what comes later. So for example, the healthcare career path. The freshman starting class is Intro to Health Occupations. They simply cover what is available in health occupations, that there are jobs that exist that we didn't even know about 10 years ago. And so having your student go through that gives them kind of an idea of what's out there, or an idea of that's not for me, and it's okay. But some of those intro classes that you'll see on the freshman selection are required before they go into the next level of whatever that is. Agriculture is a good example of that. If a student's interested in agriculture in any capacity, taking the intro to ag kind of lets them know the areas that they want to pursue. Anything from animal science to welding to the construction piece. We like to try to have them kind of mix it up so that they are exposed to what's out there. What could they possibly be interested in? Business as well. We have a new business teacher this year, and she's amazing and doing a really good job of trying to expand some of the options. So students start with basic computer skills, And then they can go into career explorations or web design or digital design later on. But they have to kind of go through those introductory courses first to kind of get prepared for those. So the career pathways that we have, that's why we kind of put those on the freshman sheet in hopes that they choose a minimum of 2, and then hopefully they'll try one of each of those. So not necessarily if your student's not interested in going into construction. We highly encourage our kids to take woods and construction, and then you get really cool Christmas presents from them in their classes. Footstools and birdhouses and all kinds of stuff. They may not be totally level, but they're good. Natural resources as well. Really popular CTE course field trips. You go on a ton of field trips on what's out there and clubs and activities, and each one of these pathways has outside clubs and activities to participate in, and your students might not know about them unless they go through those classes. So we really like to see them kind of cruise through there. So the forms, you all have your forms that your students filled out. They did an excellent job. This is one of the, I think, best classes that we've been through. Mrs. Sage prepared them well. They've been through all of the course book. They know exactly what the descriptions are in the course book, what's required, what the class is about, and they were really thoughtful about going through and choosing on their sheets. So you have your sheets in front of you, and if they have not completed them, they still have time to complete them. We can answer any questions, or if you saw something that you might want to change, you can certainly do that. All of our resources are on our high school website. You'll find the freshman course catalog in English and Spanish, and the freshman course selection sheets in English and in Spanish. So if you need to access those, they're right on our high school website. Michelle, can you go to the next one? What we do for your students and with your students and you is we try to track them year to year, but we also try to give them a projection of what's in the future, so that they do start to think about what is coming, because we all know high school students live in the moment most of the time. And so if we can get them thinking about what's next, it's most helpful to them. So the sheet that you have in front of you kind of maps out the 4-year plan of the required classes that they're taking. And this helps them and us as we sit down with them and talk about their courses and what they want to do and how they want to do that. What do they need to take when, so that they can pursue some of these, career pathways or what it is that they're interested in. So this is what we use to track, are they on track? Do they have what they need? And they use these as well. And you go, all right, did you get your health credit? Yep, okay, check that off. Moving on, what do you do next? So that they're kind of fully aware of their plan and not just choosing classes at random, okay? And this is for you as well. So you can kind of discuss with your student what it is that you want to take first. Did you complete that? How are you going to move on to the next one? That's a good tracker. Michelle, can you go to the next one? Thank you. And these are the sheets that you have in front of you as their course selection sheets. If anything on there does not make sense, please let us know. But like I said, they did an excellent job in the classes when we were in there with them, and of asking great questions. So I think they're all really thinking about what it is that they want to take. And Mr. Beeman kind of touched on this, that they can't take everything as freshmen, which some of them really want to, and they kind of have to wait, but they'll get there. Those opportunities will open up later for them. So on the course selection sheets, they choose, like Mr. Beeman said, making sure they choose 18 selections, normal selections, and then on the back of the sheet, there's a spot for 4 alternates. If you can't get any more of those top choices, then what do I do? We got a lot of questions from students about band and choir. We got a lot of students about foreign language. So just touching on those, that if they're choosing band and choir, those are 3 trimester commitments. So they need to mark all 3 tries, and then they will be scheduled into those. We offer second language right now of Spanish. And that is not, you'll see on Mr. Beeman when we went through the graduation credit, it is not a graduation, a diploma requirement. 2 years of a foreign language is not a diploma requirement. However, it is 4-year university college admissions. It is a basic expectation that they do that, so they will need that. If a four-year college is in their plan in any form, 2 years of a foreign language, second language, and we offer Spanish as their second language. So getting those in freshman and sophomore year is ideal. If they're locked out of something their freshman year because of a specialty class that they take, we'll still get them in there. It just may look a little different. All of freshmen are required to take PE too. Some kids are really, really excited about that, and some kids really are not excited about that. But we run them through PE, and then sophomore year they take PE, and then it's an elective after that. We usually don't have a problem offering PE classes later on for them to take as well, but those are also prerequisites for the upper level PE classes. So students who want to get into weightlifting, and the coaches love that, need to go through PE 1 for sure first, and then those opportunities open up to them. As far as the forecasting sheets go, you have those in your hand that your students filled out. If you want to make any changes to those, you can make changes and return those sheets to us. If you do not need to make any changes, you can take those sheets home with you and just keep them for your reference. Just so you know what your student chose, and we want you to be involved in that too, but they made those main selections. So if they want to make any change, we would like to have those changes made before spring break. But there's still time. You can contact either one of us on email, phone, the high school, Mrs. Sage, you can contact her as well. We can get those from you. Questions? I think that's the last slide. Questions is the last slide.
Anybody have any major questions? Yes.
My question would be, so what if you've written this in pen and you want to change it?
That's okay. You just put marks through it to change it. Are there any other questions? If you have any me specific questions, we'll be hanging out up here afterwards, so you guys are welcome to come talk to us. I think there's a collective excitement to welcome you guys into the building. We've heard really good things about this class, and so we have. We've heard really good things about this class, so I think people are really excited to welcome you guys next year. My biggest piece of advice for incoming freshmen are, the first one is going to be to get involved. So we have a lot of activities that weren't represented in the slides that are being advertised out there. So I would say do your best to find something that you're passionate about and get involved in something. The next one would be explore our career pathways your freshman year and see what you're passionate about and kind of be targeted after freshman year down that pathway so you're set up after high school for whatever you want to do regarding that career. And then the third one is this is more of a later advice, but we have a lot of dual credit offerings here. So if you know you're college bound, I would take as many dual credit classes as possible so you can save as much money as possible after high school. So that's probably like a parent piece of advice, but we thank you guys for being here. If you have any questions, we'll be up here. Otherwise, we'll see you next year.